Hey guys, Avery Carl from the Short Term Shop here. I wanted to welcome you into our 10 episode deep dive on the Outer Banks and Carolina Beach, but also to let you know that we have some supplemental materials to this on our website for you guys. It's called theshorttermshop.com. And there we have a section where you can look at properties in these markets, see what the current purchase prices are. You can set it up to save a search for you and email you anytime a new property in those markets in your price range comes out. We also have the AirDNA data, thanks to our friends over at AirDNA for this market. So you can use those two things to analyze. We've got a calculator for you there too to help tie it all together. And if you guys are ready to maybe start talking to an agent in this market, you can email us at agents@theshorttermshop.com and we will connect you to our expert agents in this market. Or maybe you're not ready to do that, but you just want to hang out with us more, and that's cool because we want to hang out with you too. And we have a Facebook community where you can do that. It's called Short-Term Rental, Long-Term Wealth, same title as my book. And it's just a community of 60,000 of our closest friends who are sharing best practices and just kind of hanging out with other real estate investors. So it's pretty cool. We hope to see you over there. And last but not least, if you have questions, you want to talk to a real person like myself, it will be myself actually, and Luke. We have an open office hours every Thursday, and you can sign up for that at strquestions.com, and you can ask us any questions that you have about short-term rental investing. But now we'll get to the episode.
Here we are. We did it. We have arrived. Life is good. On the beaches of North Carolina. Long hair Luke, cash flow Carl, on behalf of the Short Term Show special episodes from the Outer Banks all the way down to Carolina Beach. Is going to do two markets in one today. It's going to be awesome. And two of my favorite people who last time I saw both of these folks, I was in the Outer Banks running the marathon last fall. Ladies first, Meg, tell us about yourself.
Hey there, everybody. So I'm Meg Minitry on the Outer Banks. Moved here in 2012. Began my investing journey here back in 2016. Wasn't licensed at the time. I was an investor, like a lot of you all listening today, and then really just kind of did a deep dive and went ahead, got licensed, and now have the benefit of getting to work with all of you guys and get you guys started here on the Outer Banks. Great place to be on our beautiful beaches, and toss the baton to Joe.
Awesome. Thanks, Meg. Yeah, happy to be here. Similar story, real estate investor. Been in Carolina Beach since 2019. Absolutely love it down here. I'm covering everything on the North Carolina coast that isn't the Outer Banks. So Atlantic Beach all the way down to Ocean Isle. And man, it's just an awesome location to be. I love living here. Thankful that I get to invest in it and hang out with you rock stars.
Rock stars, yes, thank you. Yeah, likewise, my friend. Joe always has interesting shirts on, which you don't today. I'm a little disappointed, but one of my favorite things about you. I'm going to actually screen share real quick and pull up a map so we can just kind of get a little bit familiar with these areas while you guys are talking about them. But Meg, go ahead and start with, like the north end of your briefly. Where are we covering, and where do we want to look as quote unquote, or even just vacation buyers?
Sure. I'll do a quick kind of breakdown. We have 130 miles of coastal beach line here. I think the best concentration for you all is going to be the from Corolla to Nags Head. That's going to be the greatest concentration of visitors that come to the Outer Banks. We can go down, continue going down to the southern beaches, Rodanthe, Avon, Salvo, Waves, even down to Buxton. But really those 5 townships, Corolla, Duck, Kitty Hawk, Kill Devil Hills, and Nags Head, is really where you're going to want to focus on those areas. And each township has its own little story, its own benefit. You've got a pretty good range in purchase pricing, purchase prices rather, in all of those townships. And
where are we coming from to get to this area? All sorts of different areas. Where's my nearest airport is here, or where's the nearest?
Your nearest airport's going to be Norfolk. We get a range of 250 to 400,000 people coming and going every weekend. So it's that many coming and that many going. So we get a ton of vehicles that are here on our little skinny strip of islands. But we see Ohio, Pennsylvania, up in Delaware, all the New England. We get people from Florida and South Carolina, Tennessee, actually, if you can believe it. The Smokies people want to come to the ocean. So we get people from all over the U.S., Utah. It's I wouldn't say we're really on the way to anywhere. So when people are coming here, this is their destination. This is where they're coming to be.
I'm curious what drew you to the area. Where are you from originally, and then what sucked you in?
Yeah, I grew up in Northern Virginia and was wrapping up my master's degree in business, and the opportunity came to move here. And who's going to say no to the chance at coming to live on the Outer Banks? So it's a beautiful area. Great to start a business. It's gorgeous here. You get the beautiful sunrise and sunsets, and safe place to be. Raise our child here. We love it. Very family friendly.
Talk to me about activities in the area. What am I doing when I come to town? Obviously, the beach is the big draw. So talk about the beach in general. But what else am I doing? Am I bringing my kids, etc.?
Yes. We are a huge family friendly beach. We've got the Dennis Anderson's Muddy Motorsports Park. That's going to be up across the bridge up in like the Currituck area. We've got bird watchers that come. We've got water enthusiasts. So if you're a kiteboarder, a sailor, we have a lot of that. Surfers obviously come. Anybody that wants to come have any water sports, they're going to come for that. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of pirate stories in this area. And then of course, we've got the history of the first colony that was set up here down in Manio, on Roanoke Island. You also have the Sound, which is, obviously the west side of our barrier islands. And so you've got people who are doing both inshore and offshore fishing, a lot of sports fishing here. That's also another really big draw. But even on the out season or off seasons, we have activities. We've got Jeep Week. We've got Biker Week. We've got Pride Week. We've got a seafood festival. We have the Bluegrass Festival that we were talking about earlier. There are so many activities, marathons, a lot of marathons and races that happen here. So even outside of that busy season, we're still drawing people that come really all year long. Okay,
great. And what are the names of the counties I'm dealing with here?
So predominantly Dare County, but then Corolla is going to be up in Currituck County.
Okay. Dare County 2022 statistic, $1.83 billion in tourism money, 2022, 1 year.
Yes.
Obviously, a lot of folks as of right now consider that to be the biggest year ever, but we're seeing 23, no slouch in most cases for a very good operator. So $1.83 billion in tourism industry monies coming to this area. All you got to do is reach your hand out and get some of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of as simple as that. It is a beautiful, beautiful area. And the best option for a lot of folks to get to the beach. Talk to me about getting out there. Is there anything, because it is out there in the water. Give me if I've never been there before, give me a little rundown on that.
Yeah, so you're going to be coming either from the west, mainland North Carolina, or from the north down from Virginia. There are private airports here. If you want to fly privately, you can get here that way. And we do have visitors that do come. But most, everybody's going to be driving, and just depending on that location, they're going to be coming either, across one of the bridges, crossing the Sound to get here.
Can I get there straight from Virginia Beach I can't go that way, right? I have to come around.
No, yeah, you do. You have to come down 158. And then actually, if you're going to go up to Corolla or Duck, you almost have to do like a fish hook and turn back around. Now, they are building a bridge that's been under litigation for years, whether or not this bridge could be built. And it continues to roll that they are going to allow this construction to happen, that will have a northern bridge that can get you to Corolla. So you're not having to come all the way down to Kitty Hawk and then drive out, another hour back north again to get up to Corolla.
And where's that going to be?
Probably still about 20 years out. If I had to guess, it's going to be a while. But so basically, if you look up near like Moyock, which is going to be is pretty far north, but if you follow up to Corolla and then you just go west from Corolla, they are going to build a bridge that's going to take you, I believe it's Moyock, and they're planning to put a bridge there so that you're not having to come all the way down to Kitty Hawk. Now that's probably a good 20 years out. That's not going to be anytime soon. I don't want to put in anybody's head that that's coming immediately and that they should all run to jump in Corolla, because it's going to be a while. But the fact is, as it stands now, Corolla is, it's kind of considered to be one of the more, not exclusive by any stretch. It's kind of like the Hamptons of the Outer Banks, though. And it's kind of a bragging right to say that you stay in Corolla, and it's packed up there. I mean, people absolutely love it. In fact, I don't know that the majority of my short-term shop clients are up there, but I would say a good third of them are.
What about all the way up into this area up here? What's this look like up in?
I'm really, really glad you asked. It is beautiful up there, but there is an area, the northern part of Corolla, and that goes up into Corova, and that's all going to be Currituck County. But that area is called the 4x4 area, and I don't recommend it as a first-time purchase for our buyers, because to get there, it gets a little bit tricky. You actually have to pull over to the side of the road, air down your tires. You have to drive to the beach to get to the properties, and all of that sounds fantastic. But the air down is really, really important, and you have to be in a 4x4 vehicle. So if you choose to purchase there, you just need to make sure that your guests are really, really well informed of that requirement to air down your tires. You're going to get stuck. And every year there's a Facebook page of tourists, and they get made fun of and pictures taken of their cars, because they'll try to take their Teslas or their Mustangs out on the beach to drive on the beach, and they get stuck. Have to have a 4x4 vehicle, and it's just another step.
What are the properties like up there?
What's what?
What are the up there? It looks like there's a lot of canals. You can put a boat, etc. But what do they look like? Are they? I live on a beach, so I'm almost kind of picturing, since it is difficult to get up there, that they're a little bit tattered and weather torn. Or what do they look like?
The properties,
way up there in the Corova area.
Yeah, no, they're beautiful. I mean, another part of that though is it's tough to get your contractors up there. It's going to be tough to get your cleaners up there. So there's just a little bit more. It's a little bit more difficult. But people do love to rent them. You're going to get repeat families that are going to come every year. They're not any more weather, hit hard with weather than any of the other oceanfront properties. And you're going to have things that were built in the 60s, and you're going to have things that were built, 5 years ago. So you're going to have a really nice mix. Obviously, the land gets really skinny up there. And so, everything is very, very close to the ocean. Like, you don't have to walk far to get there. But that's like where the wild horses are. There were a lot of wild horse tours up there, and people do love it. They do love to visit.
So they're literally just horses just hanging out.
Mm-hmm. Wild horses. Yep.
That's wonderful.
Pretty big? Yeah, and they are beautiful, and you will see them. They're lovely.
Can I adopt one? How does that? I mean, what? You know what I mean? Like, are they protected?
Oh, yes, they're very protected. In fact, there are groups here. People really like to feed apples and carrots, and they actually, it kills the horses. It's horrible. They really are supposed to only eat the grasses that are here. So you can watch them from afar. Try not to interact with them, but yeah, they don't feed the horses.
Sounds like a fantasy, like a fairy tale. Like, my daughter would just love this.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated with this area where you got to air down your tires. When I'm up there, that's it, right? Do I don't go anywhere. I bring my groceries with me. Are there restaurants, or what? Again, this is probably not where you want to buy. You're
gonna come down to Corolla. I mean, Corolla has fewer restaurants than from Kitty Hawk to Nag's Head. It's not going to be as commercialized up there, obviously, but it is beautiful. But yeah, when you go up there, it is much more feeling of being on a desert island. You're going to have neighbors, but not right next to you, and it is more spread out. But you're probably going to pack your car full of groceries. You might make another trip or two out, but you're there to basically be one with the beach and the critters that are up there.
Love it. I'm like so off into the weeds now. I'm fascinated with these wild horses that I lost my train of thought. What are we looking at for price points? Again, without getting too crazy there, how much can I get into something? And then let's slide that into insurance.
Yeah. So I know that we're going to have a discussion. We've got, I think in another episode, we're actually bringing a local insurance guy in. So I don't want to go too far into that, because I don't want to stomp on his toes and blow his cover. But your sweet spot really is going to be between 7 and 1.5. million, 700 to 1.5 in that range. Not so much in the 700 range, but once you kind of get up above 8, you should be able to get a pool. You should be walking distance to your beach. You should have something that's at least 4 bedrooms. You could probably get up to 5 or 6 at that price point. Once you're going a whole lot higher than that, you're going to be looking, up at, between 1.4 and 2 million. Kind of, beyond once you get into those, but that you should be able to get a nicely, decently updated. Of course, you're going to want, any buyer is going to want to put their own personal touches and they're going to make it theirs. But you should be able to find something pretty nice in that price range, close to the beach with the pool.
And I figure that's to me, that's a perfect price range for a good vacation town. Is in somewhere in that 700 to 1.5. Once you get up into 2.5, somewhere in that 2.5-3 million range, then it becomes a little bit more of a vanity deal where you're probably not going to, make a huge cash on cash return or anything like that. But if you got the kind of dough to afford a $30 million home on the side, then, maybe that's not your deal. And It can be still an excellent place to place your money. But so that's good to hear. Regulations, is it, anything to be concerned with there?
There's one township that does not allow short-term rentals. It's Martins Point. There are a couple other smaller ones that aren't quite as close to the beach, but Martins Point will fall in that category of the 700 to 1.5. They do not allow short-term. There's another neighborhood on the west side that does not allow short-term, but ultimately we are a tourist destination. It is the way we thrive down here. It is the main industry here. Tourism is encouraged. Short-term rentals are needed. It's a great place to invest. And this is generations and generations of people that have been coming and visiting the Outer Banks. So that's not gonna stop anytime soon. It's
all
what
right,
keeps us going.
Love it. All right, well, we're going to shift into Joe here. Mr. Joe, a little bit further down, tell us about you and what do we do? What do we know here?
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's hard to follow, Meg. I feel like I could step in and really love the Outer Banks right now.
I'm going to set up a realtor.com search right now.
I know. I'm like horses, the whole 9 yards, historic vacation rental market, the whole 9 yards. That's just incredible. But it's something I just love about North Carolina in general, buying short-term rentals in this market is that, we're some of the most affordable beach properties in the United States right now. And I absolutely love it because you've got totally two different, two completely different markets so close to each other. You've got the Outer Banks where it's large tourism. It's like everybody knows about the Outer Banks across the country. And then you come down to my kind of neck of the woods where we've got like 10, 11 smaller beach towns that they all kind of have their own unique cultures, their own individual setups. And if I had to describe more of the Carolina beach market, and again, we're talking Atlantic Beach all the way down to Ocean Isle. Think more drive to vacation rental market. So very, very specific to more North Carolinians. So Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham, that's really the large drive of a majority of the people that are vacationing here. And so you've got a lot of second homes. You've got a lot of vacations rental like individual markets. But Luke, if you kind of want to go to the top of that, we can actually start all the way at the top of Emerald Isle. So you've got the Crystal Coast, which is Atlantic Beach, Emerald Isle. It's just an absolutely beautiful market. It's kind of it's got the kind of the feel of the end of the Outer Banks, but you're still a pretty easy drive from Raleigh. So they're actually putting in some pretty large infrastructure projects to support all these different beach towns. But again, all historic vacation rental markets, very similar price points too, from what Meg was talking about. We're kind of falling in that 700 to about 1.5 range for single family homes. But all these different markets here, we've got the ability for different asset classes of like condos, townhouses, single family homes. And so we've got a lot of options down here. And it just depends on like what you're specifically looking for and what price point you want to fall in. It's like we've got some really great condos, for example, down in Carolina Beach that are starting in about $350,000 range if you're on the lower price point. But we can go all the way up to our mega $2-3 million homes as well. But yeah, this is a great view that Luke's got pulled up. We're looking at the map kind of there towards the top. You've got Atlantic Beach all the way down, which is very near Morehead City. It's kind of a larger area for people to have a lot of contractors, things like that are up there. And then you work your way down through Pine Hill Shores, Indian Beach, Emerald Isle. And Emerald Isle is personally probably one of my favorite beaches because it really feels like you're stepping into like a maritime forest, and the properties are kind of larger. It's very much like your neighbors aren't right on top of you, and it's still got that small beach feel. But the big draw for everyone coming kind of to these individual markets is everybody's coming for the beach. It's crystal clear blue water. It's beautiful. And kind of up on that island, you've got an aquarium, a lot of different draws for people coming to vacation, a lot of great shops and restaurants. And so absolutely love that beach across the board. But go a little bit more southern, you've got Topsail Island. Topsail is one of my favorite islands right now, mainly from finding deals. So you've got North Topsail, Surf City, and Topsail Beach. They are fantastic. Again, drive-through vacation rental markets. There's a bypass that's actually going in.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off. You passed over this. This is a park here.
Hit me with that one more time.
Yeah, let me zoom in. I think there you might have a delay from my video, but it's a Bear Island Hammock Beach State Park.
Yes. So
it's just a park. No, there's no houses.
It's just
there.
A park. Yeah, there's no houses there. Like that's just it looks like a nature reserve area, but
yep.
Yeah, that's
Sea Turtle Sanctuary.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But he down back over here. Houses are North Topsail.
Yeah. So like going back down to like the areas where you're going to be investing for short-term rentals, like Topsail is just a fantastic market right now, specifically because this is where I'm finding a lot of the deals. It's kind of like one of our emerging markets of it's not fully discovered yet. And so it's still got some of our lower price point homes coming in, but there's a lot of infrastructure projects coming to Surf City right now. So you've got a bypass that's coming from Wilmington that's going to connect directly to Surf City, which is going to drastically reduce our travel time to the area, which again, a majority of our clients come in are driving from Charlotte, Raleigh, Durham. That's just going to cut that drive time down pretty significantly of going through Hampstead and whatnot. And so we're just seeing that area explode right now with a lot of great deals that are coming onto the market.
Okay. Do I keep going down further south than that or?
Yeah, we keep going, man. From here, you're really going to run into Wrightsville Beach. We don't do a ton there. Wrightsville Beach is more of a, it's not going to cash flow well. That's where you're going to find your 3 million plus beach houses. But skip right down past that, you get to Carolina Beach. And Carolina Beach is where I live. It's a fantastic market, especially if you're looking for smaller properties. But you can go as large as you want as well. It's Carolina Beach and Curry Beach. And you're looking at like condos, townhouses, single family homes, but you're competing with primary residence home buyers here because we're 15 minutes from Wilmington. And so some of the price points are going to be a little bit higher. So you're playing a little bit more into an appreciation game, but we have all the different types of properties here. You can buy condos, townhouses, single family homes. It's not just your large traditional single family homes in this market.
Okay. Once I get down into that, the Curry Beach area where there are more primary homes, are there more regulations down there? Let's talk regulation.
Yeah. So from a regulation standpoint, we actually don't have, it's still similar to Meg's market. It's kind of the Wild West up here. We don't have any regulation across the board in any of these markets. They're supported by the taxes that are done from the town. And so they've been this way for 75 years. And so they are very incentivized on us continuing to rent our properties. But there's no registration process. There's no nothing. You put them on Airbnb and VRBO and you let them rent.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What else
now we do have another. Oh man,
ahead.
we're only like halfway through the beaches. I mean, we've got like a whole southern section of beaches.
All right, let's go.
We've got tons of them, man. We've got Oak Island, which is like a tiny little country town.
How many miles are we talking here?
Say again.
How travel time are we talking from the top to the bottom of the areas you cover?
Oh, 3.5 hours, I'd say.
Oh my goodness.
Be about the total if you're going from the top to the bottom. And so that's the cool part is there's a lot of options. So they're all really good beach markets, but again, they all have their own little cultures. And so I'm a big proponent in this market of you look for the deals of if you're trying to get your best cash on cash return, like they're all going to perform well, but you can find the beaches that you like the most, which opens up your box to be able to find better deals as they're rolling through. And so inventory everywhere is tight, but if you've got more options in the North Carolina coast, it helps you have more. Oak Island's very interesting. Oak Island is a quiet little country town, and it's going to be a quiet little country town for a long time. There's not a ton of larger infrastructure projects moving to the area, but Brunswick County was one of the #1 counties for people moving to for the last 2 years, which is just incredible. There's a ton of construction that's going on. But you got to be careful with Oak Island. You want to make sure that you have easy beach access because it's by far our largest beach of primary residence people. And so you can get to a point where you're buying a beach house that's a 20-minute walk. So you just got to be careful with Oak Island and make sure that you're closer to the sand than not. But they let dogs on the beach. It's a wonderful little town. I used to take Michelle here to celebrate our anniversary every year. It's super fun. Absolutely love it.
The golf course is open to the private.
The golf courses are open to the public. Holden Beach is more known for their golf courses. So a little bit farther south, the next beach down is very much a family beach of really large traditional beach houses. It's like 2 strips of houses all the way down, and it's all vacation across the board, and it's closer to a lot of golf courses. So North Carolina is known for their golf, and we have people come from all over the world to play at a lot of these golf courses.
And then where do we go from there? Big Beach?
Last one really that we typically focus on is Ocean Isle. Ocean Isle is just an incredible little market. It is close enough to Myrtle Beach that you get a lot of the Myrtle Beach crew, but it's so you can slide down there and get a lot of the amenities, but it's a really well run, beautiful beach with large properties across the board. And so it's been one of our more popular ones recently with a little bit higher short-term rental numbers than I'm seeing in most of the other ones. But we also have Sunset Beach in between there and the South Carolina border, but it's very similar vibe, larger beach houses. It's a great little spot.
Wonderful.
But yeah, that's kind of the general rundown. We got a bunch of options down here.
You do have a lot of options. Museums, you already mentioned an aquarium, all that kind of stuff. What do I do to entertain my kids?
Oh man, entertain your kids. It is going to depend on the individual beach you're at. Like if you're at Holden Beach, for example, your options are you're taking the kids to the beach. Like that's what you're doing. You're here to be on the beach. If you're in Carolina Beach, we've got another great aquarium here. We've got Fort Fisher, which is incredible. You can slide into Wilmington. Wilmington's got tons of shops, restaurants, museums, things like that. But again, different across the board. It's just going to depend on which beach you're going to be at.
Okay, wonderful. What else do we need to know? We're obviously going to cover a lot of this stuff in future episodes. Just suck me in. Joe, why should I buy a property in your market?
You should buy a property in the Carolina Beach market because it's some of the most affordable beach properties that we have in the entire United States. And the demographics, like everywhere I'm looking to buy for an investment purpose, is all based off population growth. Well, Wilmington, North Carolina was the #1 city in the US for people relocating the last 2 years. You've got Brunswick County, which is one of the highest population growth counties in the entire country right now. Like people are moving to North Carolina, and this applies to Meg's market too, across the board. There's so much happening in this area right now that our prices are still affordable compared to the rest of the country, and they generate great returns. And so, in my opinion, you should buy here simply because the needle is moving in this direction. And so even if you make a mistake, you can be helped by the market, if that makes sense. Like you always want to have headwinds. You don't want to have tailwinds when you're doing your investment strategies. And population growth is one of the best headwinds that you can get for making a sound investment.
Okay, great. All right, wonderful. Well, with that, we will thank everybody for hanging with us. Thank you for coming. Special episodes, North Carolina, and the beaches anyway. And we will return very soon with episode 2, which is going to be more on what to buy in these markets. So thanks for hanging with us.